All right, guys, and down here, the bottom right-hand corner of ESV Ohana, we have our blue Terran player from Complexity. It is GanZi, and he's trying to put his team just one game away from advancing over his opponent here in the top left-hand corner of the map from FXO. Winner of the last game, our red Zerg player, Lucky.
When GanZi first showed up in the GSL, we started calling him the Gonzo Terran, and he really lived up to his name, too, because he did some crazy stuff. There was one series in particular, I remember way back when, well, not way back when, but last year, which seems
in the
like
days
way
of
back
yore,
when dinosaurs ruled the earth, where he basically cheesed Teja out of the GSL. He cheesed him something like 3 out of the 5 games they played or something like that. And so you never really know what to expect when it comes to GanZi. I mean, obviously, it's not TVT. It is Terran versus Zerg this time around, going up against Lucky. But, you know, he can get a little bit aggressive sometimes. You know, he can cheese, he can all-in, but he can also play a really good macro game. He's got great unit control, and that's, you know, the mark of a really strong player. You know, someone that can throw a lot of different styles at you.
I love when you talk about dinosaurs on the Earth, because it's never when dinosaurs roamed the Earth with you. It's always when dinosaurs ruled the Earth.
That's
and
right. Well, man, when dinosaurs were around...
Yeah, I have such a better image then, so...
Well, it makes the dinosaurs seem like a lot cooler when they talk about them ruling the Earth, you know. And plus, that's what it said on the banner in the Jurassic Park movie, too.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, well
there you go.
I liked it.
There's my reasons.
I was fine with it. So, GanZi, of course, putting his barracks down at the bottom left-hand corner, and it's just going to make Lucky freak out a little bit until he finds it. Of course, he will, but we'll see if he decides to overreact. No, actually, going right after a 16 or 17 pool. We'll find out here if this becomes a drone. Indeed, so he hasn't found that barracks, but now he does, and is still going with a 17 gas, theoretically, a pretty late pool, too.
Yeah, well, I think he's correctly assumed at the very least that it's not going to be an 11-11. That's not something that's very common on this map because of its size, because of the ramp going into the natural. And, you know, it's also just something, too, that if your drone control is good and if you react fast enough, a lot of Zerg players will, you know, just go ahead and go for that 17 pool and just kind of count on being able to hold things off with only drones until their Zerglings show up. So with the way that Lucky plays, it's not too surprising to see him, you know, not really worry about it too much. And
go ahead. My apologies.
And I was going to say, and I think it's time for Kevin to talk.
Oh, well,
Go
then
ahead.
I will jump on in, because
right.
Lucky's doing the same thing he did last game, of course.
Yeah.
He went for the relatively late pool and wants to keep this this alive as long as possible on the extractor, because so many Terran players are double gassing after a gasless fast expand, then going reactor Hellion Banshee into a third command center pretty early on. Now, some players have just been going straight up for the 3 command centers like we saw Hart do, and what it looks like GanZi is actually going to go after here in just a second. Another 400 resources, and we'll probably see another command center. There we go.
Yep, and is that in range of that building? No, it is definitely not, but if Lucky decides to do some scouting, try to duck out and kind of juke past that Marine, see if he can see something, he will see the command center very quickly, but you know, this is what GanZi likes to do. He loves getting a really fast third command center. He does the same thing all the time in TVP, where he usually tries to hide it somewhere as well once in a while.
And he still hasn't seen it even when the drone popped up there. Now, it's always weird to me whenever I see this building, because I have a habit of checking the production tab to see what's coming up.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh my God, there's a second gas.
No,
no, I'm an
really.
idiot. It's this one.
You know, I love GanZi's space where he decided to build that command center. I still don't think he saw it.
No, he did not.
And the reason is because when you do that sort of extractor steal as Zerg, a lot of times you'll try to pop up and go in the direction of the minerals because you're trying to get away from where the Marines are. So it's really smart actually for GanZi to build that there, because it's the direction that the drone was least likely to go, you know, after he tried to run away too. So yeah, GanZi really, you know, knowing the matchup well, knowing, you know, what his opponent is thinking too. Pretty cool to see that kind of stuff. But you know, the game is you know, no real advantage for either player right now. They're kind of just getting their openings started at the moment.
It is
That's
kind
about
of
that.
It is kind of a weird opening for Lucky, though. He does have the Bailing Nest coming up now, and as we can see, it's just going up to a second gas. So I don't know if we're going to see some sort of a high econ Bailing bus, if he's planning on going up to layer tech here pretty soon. But as we can see, you know, GanZi deciding to put down 2 engineering base up at the front in addition to these 3 barracks. A clever little wall there.
Yeah, definitely smart to do something like that just in case. I don't think it's going to be a big Baneling nut bust just because Lucky's made a lot of drones so far. If you're going to do something like that, usually you make the Baneling nest a little bit earlier and try to time it up around when Zergling's speed finishes. So it looks like he just wants to kind of stay safe early on and going to a much safer, lair style. This is an FXO Zerg, and Lucky does tend to kind of lean more toward the Leanox style of playing this. So this is kind of, I think what we can expect from him. Probably going to see that lair very soon, actually.
Yeah, I mean, because he has banked a huge amount of gas.
Yeah,
I have to say, 450 gas,
has.
and there's 18 lings coming out now as well, so 20 now, and that's going to join the 14 that are on the field.
Maybe he will actually Baneling bust. I mean, I guess that's kind of what we have to assume here, but it's going to be a really late Baneling bust. This is going to come not quite at the typical time here, and GanZi's going to see a lot of these links come across, and he's actually going to kill 3 of them right off the bat there. I don't know how well this is actually going to work out for Lucky. We'll see. That's a lot of building to get through for those Banelings. And where's he building those? He's building them back at home. Okay, so I'm wondering how he plans to clear those Marines away from the tower before he gets there, because if GanZi sees those coming with the Xel'Naga tower, he's going to have time to start more buildings behind his main wall, and there's no way that Lucky's going to get through then. So, and there's already a bunker too. So if he really, and it looks like he is planning on going through it with a Roach Ling, Baneling all in.
Very weird stuff out of Lucky, though. Just the time the buildings all came up was just really awkward.
He's telegraphing it to his opponent too. I mean, GanZi should know what's coming at this point. There's going to be no question at all. And Lucky's going to want to keep every single one of those Banelings alive too, because if he loses any, that's going to be less roaches too. But here we go. He's going to have to use a lot of Zerglings to take out these Marines, so he's going to have to use some of these Banelings.
Only uses 1 there and then sends the rest of them towards his opponent's base. So we'll see what he's going to do. 2 more bunkers are coming up in a hurry for GanZi. Will he be able to bust right through the front, though? Oh my God!
I guess the answer is yes in that case. He's actually going to make a lot more Banelings.
What?
And, there's not going to be too many roaches with this. He's going to be able to afford a couple of them if he wants to, but yeah, it's just going to be a big Baneling bust. Interesting build from Lucky.
What?
Here we go.
Oh my God!
Man.
He's just rolling through the front. There are a few bunkers up, but who cares? I've got a million Banelings.
Wow, and everything just dies. Oh man, and he still has enough to go through that supply depot too. More Zerglings on the way.
Are you joking me right now? Lucky is just going to smash his way to victory on the back of 45 Banelings.
Wow, I can't remember the last time I seen something like that. GG, and Lucky ties things up 3-3. Wow, I mean, this is insane.
I don't even know what that was.
Yeah.